By day, it's a family sedan. By night, it transforms into a 700 horsepower monster. Dodge didn't just build a car, they dropped a supercharged V8 into a four-door sedan, rewriting the rules of performance. Suburbia became a drag strip. Your daily commute? A thrill ride. This is the story of the Dodge Charger Hellcat, a modern American muscle legend that never asked for permission. Let's break it down. Back in the late 60s, the original Dodge Charger was all muscle. Long hood, short deck, and V8s that shook the pavement. It was raw, loud, and unapologetically American. Then came the 80s. Fuel economy rules, emissions crackdowns, and downsizing killed the Charger nameplate. Fast forward to 2006, Dodge brings it back. But this time, not as a coupe. It's a sedan, and that bold move sparked controversy. Muscle fans asked, how can a Charger have four doors? But Dodge had a plan. Under the hood was a 6.1-liter HEMI V8, pushing 425 horsepower, a nod to its police cruiser roots. They called it the SRT8. Performance, practicality, and power, all in one. Here's where Dodge flipped the script. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a rebellion. While other automakers chased silence and efficiency, Dodge bolted a supercharger onto a V8 and dropped it into a full-size four-door sedan. Not a coupe, a sedan. It was a brawler in a suit, a family car with 700 horses under the hood. Car meets, burnout montages, police fleets, collector bidding wars, everything orbited around this one machine that refused to behave. And when the end came, it went out with a bang. Limited editions, collector frenzy, the last muscle car that screamed. The Charger Hellcat broke rules, broke necks, and bowed out like a legend. Not because it lost its power, but because the world ran out of room for it. This was Dodge throwing a punch straight through the firewall of modern performance. In 2015, the Hellcat dropped, not in a coupe, not in some exotic supercar, but in a full-size sedan with a back seat, a trunk, and enough horsepower to make your soul flinch. Under the hood, a 6.2-liter supercharged HEMI V8, making 707 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Quarter mile in the low 11s. These weren't just fast numbers, they crushed sports cars. And the best part? It had cup holders and an automatic transmission, not a stripped-out track weapon. This was a daily driver that could gap a Corvette at the next red light. And for under $65,000, it was the best horsepower per dollar deal in the world. It wasn't just built for showrooms. This was a factory-built menace, loud, legal, and unbothered by approval. The fastest four-door on the planet had arrived, and it didn't care who liked it. What happens when you give the public a 700 horsepower missile with a warranty and a back seat? You get chaos. Overnight, they were everywhere. Car meets, burnout compilations, drag races, channels like Street Speed, 717, and Stang Mode built entire empires on the madness. That supercharger whine, it became the national anthem for horsepower junkies. And it didn't stop there. Law enforcement wanted in too. Police departments started adding chargers to their pursuit fleets. The same car lighting up streets at night was now flashing red and blue during the day. Naturally, a reputation followed. Hellcat drivers were seen as reckless, loud, cocky, and some wore that like a badge of honor. Did Dodge dial it back? Not a chance. While rivals focused on refinement, Dodge doubled down on rubber and noise. Looking for grace and polish? Take another road. But if you wanted to shake the ground with every startup, this was your tribe. So what do you do when 707 horsepower isn't enough? If you're Dodge, you push harder. First came the Hellcat Redeye, 797 horsepower from the pits of horsepower hell. Then came the Jailbreak, 807 horsepower and full customization. Colors, badges, stripes, wheels, you name it, you could build it. To harness all that power, they dropped the Widebody, massive fender flares, fat tires, and a stance ready for war. Straight line speed was just the start. These cars could corner. They gripped. Meanwhile, the horsepower war was in full swing. Ford had the GT 500. Chevy rolled out the ZL1. Tesla showed up with silent but deadly Plaid. But none matched Dodge's formula. 800 plus horsepower, 4 doors, a real back seat, and a price under 6 figures. Others offered power with limits. Dodge handed you a sledgehammer and said, "Go." They weren't just competing, they were daring the rest of the industry to keep up. The Charger Hellcat was never about efficiency. It guzzled fuel, belched emissions, and didn't care who noticed. But here's the twist. It was legal. There were no federal EV mandates yet. As long as Dodge hit fleet averages, they could build as many fire-breathing monsters as they wanted. But things changed. Fast. After 2020, pressure from the EPA and tighter CAFE standards began closing in. Governments pushed for electrification. Automakers were forced to adapt, or pay the price. By 2022, it was official. Dodge announced the end. The Hellcat, the Hemi, the glorious noise, all running out of time. Production would wind down. Not because Dodge wanted to stop, but because the system said they had to. Dodge didn't go quietly. Instead, they launched the Last Call lineup, a greatest hits album with the volume turned up. King Daytona, Super B, Black Ghost, Swinger. Each one was a love letter to muscle car fans. Loud colors, wild horsepower, and big attitude. Collectors went wild. Prices soared. And if you owned a clean Hellcat, you were sitting on a gold mine. Then came 2023, the final curtain. No more V8 Chargers, no more Hellcats. Just the smell of burnt rubber. And a legacy forged in speed. Dodge didn't ease into retirement. They did a burnout and dropped the mic. The Charger Hellcat didn't just bend the rules, it redefined what a muscle car could be. 4 doors, real trunk space, cup holders, and still a tire-shredding 700 horsepower monster. It was proof you could have it all. That combo of practicality and insanity made it iconic. It wasn't just about speed, it stood for something. In a world chasing silence and subtlety, the Hellcat was loud, proud, and completely unbothered. Today, clean examples are climbing in value. Collectors know what this car meant. Because the Hellcat wasn't just a car, it was Dodge's loudest, boldest act of defiance. And the world heard every second of it. So, what do you think? Was the Dodge Charger Hellcat a brilliant stroke of muscle car rebellion, or just raw power gone wild? Let us know in the comments. And if you love stories about cars that break rules and rewrite history, hit like and subscribe. This is AutoVault, where horsepower lives loud.